Dear teenager, we only have 7 years of being teenagers. Even though it feels like our lives are only just beginning, God has dreamed of them since even before time began. He has been looking forward to every single day of our lives from the start. These years are so precious, and we cannot get them back. But we are taught to give little meaning to them, as if they're inconsequential. They call it living. The world says that in order to really live, we need to have a lot of friends, party like there's no tomorrow, love anyone we want to, and write our own destiny, no matter what anyone else tells us. The world expects us to be rebellious, lost, and unmotivated. But that is not all we're good for. We were made for more. God calls us to adventures, joy, freedom, and unity. When we start to pursue God during these precious years, we can be ourselves no matter how many people like us. We can celebrate all the time because God loves us no matter what, and He is preparing a place for us in heaven with Him. We can love everyone because Christ loved us first, and we can be led anywhere to do anything because God has beautiful, big dreams for us, even in the small things. A relationship with God is not just empty religion for old people. It is the companionship that God has created us for, even now. We are entering a new year. I challenge you to pursue God and what He has for you now in your youth. No more waiting until we're older. No more setting low standards, expectations, and dreams. No more following the crowd when we could absolutely rock this time, this one chance we have to love God and be used by Him in our youth. God can do so much through teenagers who let Him dream for them. Even in the Bible, we see God doing awesome things through teenagers. Joseph was a teenager, hated by his older brothers. He never dreamed of saving Israel. Miriam was a young girl watching as her baby brother faced a death sentence. She never dreamed that by standing up for him, God would use him to deliver His people from slavery. Samuel wasn't even a teenager yet, but he heard the voice of God. He never dreamed of governing God's people. David was a teenage shepherd boy. He never dreamed of being king. Daniel and his friends were teenagers in captivity. They never dreamed that they would be given rule over their captors. Esther was a teenage girl hiding her identity from her husband, the king. She never dreamed that God would use her identity and position to save His people. Josiah hadn't even reached double digits when he was crowned king. He never dreamed that his heart for God would turn his nation back to the one true king. Jeremiah was a teenage boy who felt inadequate when God called him. He never dreamed that God would use him to prophesy over Israel. And Mary was a teenage Jewish girl. She never dreamed of giving birth to the Messiah. This would not have been easy. Jeremiah felt inadequate because of his age. Josiah did not know how to rule a nation. Miriam had to follow God behind the scenes and watch as her brother stood in the spotlight. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den and his friends into a fiery furnace. Samuel had to deliver message after message of uncomfortable truth to a stubborn people. Esther risked her life. Joseph was sold into slavery. Mary was accused of adultery. David spent days running for his life. However, every single one of them accomplished God's purpose for them, fully protected by Him, because they trusted, honored, and followed Him in their youth. So the next time you think that God does not take any notice of your teenage years, think again. Do not let your age, your inexperience, your fear, your complacency become an excuse for you to push following God to next year's list of goals. Do not wait until you are an adult to allow God to do awesome things in your life. God can use you now. God could speak to you today. You are just who God is looking for to reflect His light in your world. Happy New Year. It will be a good one.